Now, obviously, Nottingham Forest coaches, fans feel a little bit aggrieved because they believe a certain drop ball should have gone their way. But I think there was 2 or 3 minutes, if I'm not mistaken, between that and us scoring. But I'm open to be corrected on that. But here's the good news. Nottingham Forest can finally now turn to their Mark Clattenburg, their refereeing expert that they've brought into the club, to explain to them that yes, it was the wrong decision, and yes, you were shafted, but also not much you can do about it at this point, lads. The drop ball should have probably gone to Forest, but hey ho, stuff happens, and that's what you get for trying to run down the clock. I love it when we play teams that try to literally milk the clock at the end of the game, like Newcastle a couple of years ago, and we find a way to win it at the death. It's just so satisfying. So, where are all the people that were throwing the toys out with the pram earlier? Because it's really getting frustrating to see the chat at times. Most of you guys keep believing, as you should do, but you've seen them. You know, there might be just people that jump in for watch-alongs or whatever, but there is a weird defeatist attitude that creeps in when things aren't fully going our way. And I'm not talking about when we're 2-0 down. 0-0 with 20-25 to go at times, and people are like, oh well, that's it, give up the league, bottlers, hand it to City. No, never. You cannot write this group of players off. If ever there was a team in Premier League history, outside of maybe that United team under Ferguson, that knows how to do it late, it's this group. It's this team. It's this manager and these players. Now look, full disclosure, did I think with 97 minutes gone today we were winning it? I didn't. I thought this was one game too far. But we did. And again, I hope it just reminds people, it's never over until the referee blows the final whistle. Catherine Bulger said, we can never, ever give up on this team. They leave everything on the pitch. They have the fighting spirit. Absolutely, Catherine. They are an incredible group of people. And I'm so happy that after the Forest fans singing the Andy Carroll song towards Darwin, that he rammed it back down their throats. They should learn. Opposition fans should learn. Do not poke the bear. And by bear, I mean Liverpool, the manager, the players, the fans, all of it. Because it usually comes back to bite you in the behind. And Darwin Nunez, he tried it a little bit before. He had another one of those reverse headers that were nearly there. But this time the ball was on the money from McAllister and flicked goal scenes. Angus Court, how are you? So Craig, I missed the game. Apparently a beautiful Uruguayan scored the 99th minute. Yes. Magnificent. 99th minute of a 98-minute game. You love to see it. And there was a couple of yellows and reds dished out at the end as well to the Nottingham Forest coaches. Did you see that the Nottingham Forest owner came away throwing his considerable weight around at the end of the match as well? Well, at least it makes a difference from him throwing his media pass into someone's front garden, which he did, I think, at Fulham, if I'm not mistaken, or somewhere else. To the whining Forest fans, in the first half, the ref gave the ball to the Luton goalkeeper instead of a drop ball for Liverpool, so we're even. Look, I don't know the exact time frame between the drop ball and us scoring, but I think from memory, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I think there was a couple of minutes, and I think Forest had the ball twice back in possession between then and that. Now look, it was an incorrect decision. I'm not going to sit here and try and make out like Tierney didn't get that wrong. He did. The drop ball should have been given to Nottingham Forest. Callum Hudson-Odoi was in possession on the left side of the penalty area. I mean, ultimately, you know, we went 90 yards up the pitch to the other end, scored. A lot happens between that and then, but I love these types of wins at the death. Drives rival fans crazy. Yes. Amazing, mate. It is. And look, it feels so much sweeter to us, regardless of what the opposition fans think. Just the release, the relief, the buzz that must... Imagine what the dressing room must be like. Or imagine the trip back home from Nottingham, how the players and the coaches, who will no doubt be mentally and physically fatigued, that will energise them. That will give them incredible belief that anything is possible. And next up in the league, it's 115 FC coming to Anfield. I'll tell you what, the official appointments are going to be well looked at for this one. So we wait to see who gets the job. They were time wasting so much in the second half. And look, I don't blame them. I truly, I don't. I'd do the same in their position. They're fighting for their lives at the bottom part of the league table. They may have a points deduction looming. I don't... I don't hold it against them at all. They were trying to do what they had to do. Just didn't work out for them. Oh, so here we go. Mark Clattenburg again. And I love how Sky are putting this out there as Liverpool goal controversy. Sky, how about that? I'll sit down with both the board and the owners to explain what has happened. What I'm hearing here is Clattenburg's trying to justify his existence here in this role. Anyway, it's difficult to explain it. It was too early to think about an official complaint. Official complaint, my arse. Don't tell that to Gary Neville. Oh, Jesus, don't say that to Gary Neville. You're not allowed right to referees, Mark, even if you were a former referee. Gary Neville would be crying. You're not allowed to do it. You just have to take it on the chin, remember? Gary said so, and Gary runs football. So he said, what we'll be doing is speaking to the PGMOL, enjoy that, with my relationships that I have with the PGMOL. See this shit now, straight into the leaning into the relationships. He's not doing well here so far, Clattenburg, with my relationships. So what you're trying to say is you want favouritism, Clattenburg, is it? You're leaning on your relationships. You're no longer part of the PGMOL, Clattenburg. Shut up. You're a gun for hire now, pal. He said, we'll discuss what has happened on the field of play today and we'll look at the course of action. I'll tell you what the course of action is. Here's a tissue. Cry yourself to sleep. You're welcome. Could have saved Nottingham Forest a fortune there in fees and consultancy fees. And what about Mr. Clattenburg? Will you be writing to the referee and the PGMOL to ask about the same incident that went the other way? When Elliott hoofed the ball off their defender's head and the ball was dropped back to Forest, we believe, in our chat. Will you be writing about that, Clattenburg? Because you're all about the rules of the game and making sure they're done properly. Oh, I bet you won't though, because you're full of it. And you just have to try and justify your existence in that role. Just shut up and go to another Ed Sheeran concert, mate, and stop talking. He's on Gladiators now. I know, yeah. I mean, I get it. He needs to try and justify why he's getting paid a wage from Nottingham Forest. Do they really need an experienced ex-referee to tell them that? Because they seem to know themselves that something wasn't right. But hey-ho, if they want to pay Mark Clattenburg to tell them that, or help them write their letter, tear-soaked letter to the Premier League, then cool. What even happened? So do you remember when there was a drop ball after Canada went to ground in our penalty area? Well, Mark Clattenburg and Nottingham Forest feel that because they were in possession of the ball on the left side with Callum Hudson-Odoi, that they should have had the drop ball dropped to them to restart the game. And that's what their anger at the end of the game seems to be about. Somebody pointed out that it happened earlier on in the second half when Elliott took a shot and one of their players blocked it, but he blocked it with his head and he went to ground. I can't remember if Tierney dropped the ball back to them or us, but it should have been to us, going by what Clattenburg was saying.